Did you know that in Mass Effect 3 there is a special cameo appearance by real astronaut Buzz Aldrin? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the txboxhub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos and opinions, make sure you visit the txboxhub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 174. My name's Gareth Briley. I'm your host, and on my virtual left is Mr. Darren Edwards. How are you doing, Darren?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm very well. How are you, Gareth?
I'm very good. It's evening, Darren. I don't want to correct you earlier.
If it's still light, I like to think it's afternoon.
You're absolutely right. I'm being terrible. Yeah. You're absolutely right. On my virtual right is Mr. Paul Renshaw. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing all right, Gareth. Thank you very much. I know it's evening because it's past 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Darren's talking nonsense. Don't listen to him.
Oh, poor Darren. Darren just hangs up and goes.
I thought Paul was going to crack a joke about like the London smog or something. You missed an opportunity there, Paul.
No. I love London.
Above such things, aren't you?
Yeah,
absolutely.
On my virtual opposite is Mr. Neil Watson. How you doing, Neil?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very good. Very good. On this nice summer's evening, let's say what have we been doing this week, Darren?
Not an awful lot, really. Been working, back to work with a bang, but we did finish the Disney series Secret Invasion. I think it was last week. Not long. I think we watched it not long after we recorded the podcast, actually. So for those who are still with Marvel, and I know the numbers are dwindling, this is the latest series on Disney Plus, which follows Nick Fury from, I think he was last in Captain Marvel, after the Avengers as well. Maybe Avengers was more recent, but he's not been in it for a little while. So he basically is trying to track down the Skrulls because there's a splinter group that are decided that they're gonna, rather than try and live harmoniously alongside the humans, they're going to try and wipe them all out. So 6-part series, had quite a bit of promise, but I've got to say it fell a bit flat for me. And the final episode was really anticlimactic. I thought it was, I don't say this often, but I thought it was bad. Like, it was really bad. So yeah, other than that, we haven't watched much else or had time to do much else because we've been working. So not much fun for me, really.
Oh, I've heard it's not been too great. It's got a bit disappointing.
Yeah, it was. It was just flat, which is a shame, really, because Samuel L. Jackson's brilliant, but he can't carry the whole thing by himself.
What are they going to do with this, Marvel?
How many stars? That's the question.
How many? 4.5 for me, Paul, I'm sure.
I don't pay for Disney nonsense. No, but I was just curious as to what you would have given it, Darren.
I would have given it a 2.5, but I would have given the finale a 2 at best. I think it was anticlimactic.
We watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because that's on Disney at the moment, and I really enjoyed that. Thought it was great.
That is good.
Really good. You all seen it? You see it? It's really good, isn't it? It's really nice.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and kind of, it's quite warm as well, isn't it? And fun and comedy and it's got everything. It's great.
Is it better than the first two?
It's on a par, I'd say.
Yeah.
I watched 10 minutes of the first one and then got bored, and that's all I watched.
Not for you.
Good.
No.
Neil. It has a story and stuff, so you won't be interested.
There was like a raccoon dancing or something, and I thought, I don't want this.
You don't want. Nobody wants to dance with a raccoon.
No. There you go. Paul, what about you? Has your week been better than Darren's?
It's been more eventful, I think it's fair to say. You guys are sniggering away already. I shared a photograph with you guys of a roof with a hole in it, because due to the unique way that our company is organised, the boss has now. When I went to Manchester, I was told that there was going to be a certain wall that was not going to be knocked down under any circumstances. So I've run all of my network cables up this wall, and then he went back the week later and said, no, actually, I'm going to take this wall out as well. So, yeah, I'm back up there doing all of the work again. But part of this work was tracing where some cables went, and I was shimmying across some rafters, as you do.
Lara Croft.
Exactly, yeah. I managed to get all the way to the end where I could find my cables and check where they went and everything. And then I must have just got cocky or something, because I turned around and came back and my foot slipped off one of these rafters and straight through the roof of the reception office. So, yeah, luckily it was only one leg, but then I kind of fell over. So I've bruised my hip and I've bruised my arm and I've bruised my side where I landed across the rafters. So yeah, that was entertaining. But you know what they say: where there's blame, there's a claim. So we'll see what happens. I went into the office today and the big boss just saw me and went, "Don't worry about that roof. Those tiles aren't too expensive. We'll just take it out your wages." I was like, "You what?"
Safety first and all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's been pretty much it. Although today I did have some good news. One of the guys at work came to me and said, "Have you seen this?" And speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, Lego are now making a model of venomized Groot. So you can have baby Groot transforming into the symbiote. It looks amazing. So that's my Christmas present sorted out. I just need to tell the wife.
Good. Neil will love that. Yeah.
He will.
Yeah.
Neil's all about the Lego and the Guardian.
Paul just fell off things for the next 6 months.
Well, I guarantee he will.
Honestly, I don't think that I can do it. It's definitely a young man's game, clambering around on roofs and shimmying across all these rafters and trying not to put your foot through the plasterboard ceiling.
Didn't the health and safety guy fall off something last time? Or something happened to him?
No, I fell off the scissor lift last time.
Oh, yeah.
And the health and safety guy about wet himself laughing.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go. Good.
I think you should start delegating, Paul.
Yeah.
Anything kind of higher than 2 foot off the ground, just say, "No, this isn't for me."
Do you know what? I'm starting to think that, to be fair. Anything that involves physical exertion and working at height is not my forte, I've decided.
Good.
I thought, judging by the pictures, you were auditioning for a Spider-Man role or something, because you were always up in the corner of the roof somewhere.
You just, it's ridiculous, mate. But the thing is, it's so dirty up there because nobody's been up there for years. So the rafters are about 6 inch deep in dust and it's quite slippery. So yeah, it was a zoop, smash, oopsie daisy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
So anyway, yeah, I'm all right though. Thanks for your concern, guys.
Good, Paul. Good. I'm glad. Still don't know what you do for a living, but it's good. Right, Neil.
It's IT.
Yeah, you say that. We don't know. We don't believe it. Neil.
Climbing ladders. That's what he does. Up and down the ladders all day long.
What's your week been like, Neil?
I've had a decent week, thanks. We went over to the Isle of Wight earlier on in the week to pick one of the children up. They've been staying out there with the grandparents. Chucked it down all day. Ferries were cancelled. Ferries were delayed. Ferries broke. But we got out there. We got wet. We came home, and it was all right. Standard Isle of Wight stuff, really. Other than that, I've literally just had a barbecue. I've got a sausage sat in front of me. I really want to eat it. I don't think you're going to let me, are you?
No.
No. It's going to sit here for an hour.
Yeah.
It'll be all congealed and manky. You need to eat it now. Just eat it while Gareth's talking.
Well, actually, we're going to be doing a sort of like the best RPGs.
Oh, yeah.
You can eat it there because you haven't played anything. So that's good.
That's fine. Cool.
You're good. Good. Now this is for Neil. This is me persuading Neil. Paul, it's not for you. Darren, it would be for you. I went to the theatre on Monday. I went to the National Theatre, our National Theatre, and I saw a very expensive ticket. I saw Dear England, and if you don't know what Dear England is, Dear England's a play, and it's a play about Gareth Southgate, and it's about the England football team, and it's about from when he joined all the way up to the World Cup in November, and it's about it's about the penalty, of course, about him missing the penalty back in 1996, and about the sort of like the sphere of penalties and about what happened in that changing room, and so it was what happened with that kind of mentality of England. England was always losing games, so it's all about that and about about the team, and it's got great reviews. It's really hard to get a ticket. I think we got the last one on the Monday, and then it is coming to the West End after transfer now, after it finishes run, and it's coming up from October, so it'll be on for quite a while there. And it stars Joseph Fiennes, and it's good. So, Neil, I'm convincing you to go and get a ticket because you're a big football fan, but also I think you and Gemma should go. I'm not paying for it.
Okay.
Over Christmas.
Okay. Can we pop into yours for a cup of coffee on the way?
I come and meet you. Yeah?
Okay.
I think you've definitely got to do
we'll come and meet you. So I asked, can we pop into yours? Yeah, I'll come and meet you. So we're not actually allowed in your house.
You can come. Yeah.
We'll have to meet you somewhere else.
Yeah. In an alleyway.
Starbucks. Yeah.
Can I ask, actually, was Southgate anything to do with it? Did he have any input and stuff, do you know?
I don't know, actually. That's a really good point. I'd love to know if he's seen it. I know a lot of football people have seen it. Like a lot of the Talk Sport people have seen it. They've all gone. They've talked about it. I don't know if there's some
he
things.
He must have seen it. Must have seen it, at least.
And Joseph Fiennes has a brilliant version of him as well. He's very good at it, But it's great. There's a actor who does Harry Kane. He's just unbelievable. Very funny, but then quite moving. It's really good. Yeah, it's definitely worth watching. It's quite hopeful and jolly. It's like it's fun more than anything else. Yeah, so definitely see it. Anyone?
Okay, I'll go and see it on your recommendation, and you're paying.
Yeah, no.
And he's paying and buying you a coffee, I heard.
Yeah.
So,
there you go.
At London prices, the coffee's probably as much as the theatre ticket.
Oh my God, you wouldn't. Yeah. Yeah. Good. There you go. We're going to talk about games because we've got a big game that Paul's going to start with that we've all played. And he's really enjoyed. But tell us what the game is, Paul.
The game, Gareth, is called Atlas Fallen. And it's produced by... it was made by Deck 13 and published by Focus Interactive. I don't know if you've played any of Deck 13's other games. They did the Surge. You played that one?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, so very good developer. I've enjoyed their games before, and this one is it's fantastic. I know you're going to get all snotty about it and sniffy, but as a game where you can just get lost in the world and run around and fight things, I really, really enjoyed it. Enough so that I had to sit there and finish it. I couldn't not finish the game. I had to get my son in to help me because obviously being a 12-year-old gaming ninja, his reflexes are a lot better than mine. But so
he completed it then, not you?
Yeah. No. I completed it. I just had to get him in to help with certain battles. But yeah, I mean, the co-op gameplay is brilliant. You can play the whole thing in co-op if you want to. And I've played it with my son, like I say, and I played it with Darren. And even, I mean, Darren was having a good time, weren't you, Darren?
As I say, I want to spend more time with it.
So convincing. But I know that Gareth didn't like it, so I'm best not say anything to upset him.
I'm getting ready to play Diplomat Referee as I normally do, but genuinely, I enjoyed it. I wasn't wowed by it or knocked off my seat by it, but I want to spend more time with it.
You need to get into it deeper because the start of it is quite good. But as you get stronger and you get new abilities and then you get the bigger fights, it's very entertaining. I really enjoyed it.
What have you given it, Paul?
I have given it 4.5, Gareth.
Hey!
Oh, we love a 4.5.
Paul loves a 4.5. Nobody else.
I couldn't give it a 5 because it wasn't perfect. There were some weird things. The camera had some very peculiar moments. There's enemies in the game called tail whippers, and they're basically flying beasties. And trying to fight those with the camera locked on, it was just like epilepsy central. So it's not perfect. It couldn't have a 5, but it was very, very enjoyable.
When football happens, sometimes they retire a number in a game in honor of that player. I think we should retire the 4.5 in order of Paul.
Yeah. Well, if there was a 4.25, I would have had that, but Neil is against it for some reason.
We'll be on percentages before you know it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good, Paul. You really loved it. Let's talk to Darren. Darren, what was your thoughts?
So I played. It was about a couple of hours, wasn't it, Paul? That we were on.
Yeah.
And one thing I did like about it was the kind of world design, like Paul said. So as it starts to open up, you can kind of see where you need to travel. So I do like a game where you get like those vistas and you can kind of go, oh yeah, that thing over in the distance, yeah, you need to get to that. A bit like Breath of the Wild and stuff, that type of thing. So that's something that really appealed to me. I thought overall it looked pretty good as well, in terms of like visuals and stuff. It's terrible though, because I've started so many games and not finished them, in the nature of wanting to play games and having to work and stuff. And it's one I do want to go back to and finish though. So I'd like to jump on with Paul and play a bit more. But I've got a couple of questions for Paul. Firstly,
go ahead,
how long would you say roughly is the solo campaign, like the story campaign?
How long did it? I might not be the best person to ask for this, because I am one of those guys who will get every single side mission going and then go and do it before I do the main thing. But I think if I had a look on the Xbox, I checked it when I was doing the review. I think I put 35 hours into it.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, it's a big campaign and there's a lot of stuff to do. I mean, that was me then just saying, well, I've got to finish it now. I've still got a load of side quests left to finish.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot to do, mate.
Oh, well, that's good, because I wasn't expecting it to be that long, to be fair. Sorry, Gav.
No, I think the main story, they say, I think the developers said it's, if you do the main story, it's at 20-25 without doing all the side stuff. You got it done. Yeah.
And the other question was, because obviously you finished the main campaign, is there a lot to do afterwards, like New Game Plus, if you like? Is there anything that kind of unlocks to keep you going, or is that it?
No, that's basically it. When I finished it, then you watch the credits, it puts you back just before the final fight, so then you can go off and finish all the side missions that you didn't do. There isn't a New Game Plus, sadly.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Paul, sorry, Darren. Go on.
I was going to say I might have a job convincing you to jump back on, but I might.
No, I'm still playing it. So I mean,
cool. Okay,
I've got sort of maybe 2/3 of the achievements, so there's still a lot to do. So
fab. Yeah, okay, well, yeah, I'll let you know.
Let me know, my friend.
Paul,
I'll be there for you, Daz.
Describe a bit of the gameplay for us. So we know you've got some fighting.
There is fighting. There is sliding. There is basically the game is the exploration part of it is great. When you're on sand, instead of running, you can slide. So it's like you're skiing. There's also extra moves you can unlock where you can raise things from the sand. You can jump into the air and dash. And as you upgrade it, you get further dashes on top. So exploring and looking around is great. There's so many things to find out in the wilderness. And the combat it's really, really good. It takes a minute or two to recalibrate your mind, because every other game I've played, when you see a red flash, it always means that the attack that's coming isn't able to be blocked. But in this game, it's the opposite. So if you see a red flash when the enemy attacks, you can parry it. Yeah. If you see a blue attack, you can't. So you've got to remember that, because it's the other way around to every other game. But parrying enemies, if you parry them successively, it then crystallizes them and you get a lot more chance to do more damage. There's massive shatter attacks. There's new weapons to find and unlock. There's new armor sets to find and upgrade. There's lots and lots of things to do. I've really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's good.
I was going to say, the combat is good, and because it's at risk of getting a bit kind of slashy, the tiered combat, as Paul says, like, because your weapon will change as you rack up experience and stuff. So yeah, and then it's a bit like charging it, and then it will slowly die back down, and then you can unlock all sorts of the shatter attacks are really impressive to watch and fun to pull off actually, and the crystallizing effect is really good as well. So I thought it was a good way to get around the fact that it might get a bit stale if you're just walking around slashing people with 2 or 3 different buttons to press.
Good, there you go. And Neil, do you agree with all that?
No, not really.
Is that because you've only done the tutorial?
See, I've only played, I don't know, an hour of it maybe, a little bit more maybe. And from what I've seen, I think the premise is really good. I think the combat looks brilliant. I think that will be really good. The sand, I'd like to call it sand surfing, Paul. Is that all right?
That's fine, mate. Skiing, surfing, whatever you want.
Yeah, I think the sand surfing looks superb. I think those are the two main elements I think are really going for it, like properly going for it. My issue was with the cutscenes, the lip syncing, the slight early Xbox One early visuals. Yeah, I just couldn't get over those.
Yeah, I think the first. I think my thing as well. I think the first hour is really tough, and it's like you gotta sort your game out from the first hour. I know what they want to do. They want to save that sand stuff until an hour in, and then go, "Well, look at this! This is the world." But I think you've got to get that right. And the story isn't great. The voice acting is strange. And I
thought the voice acting was fine.
It's fine, but it doesn't. It's not. It doesn't.
But the lip syncing and stuff was really off for me anyway.
But it's not.
In the early moments.
What's the story about, Neil?
Oh, I don't know.
There we go.
Idea.
No idea. No.
but then you can ask me.
I can ask you
about
that.
Any game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a clue.
No.
I went and watched a film. I don't even know what the film was called that I watched the other week. Let alone what the story was about in that. So yeah, don't talk to me about stories.
I can explain the story if needs be, but I don't think it matters, to be honest. I think the game is strong enough.
Well, it does in an RPG. This is my thing. I think you've got to hook you straight away with that. You've got to go, "Oh, this is exciting. We're here we are. These are these people. This is what we're doing." It does that, and I think that's my only problem. I think I agree with everything else you said. I think when you get out into the world, it's fun, and it's kind of the sand stuff, and the fighting's fun. But it's got to grab you. And for me, it didn't grab me straight away.
Is it because there wasn't enough walking?
No, there's lots of walking. It just wasn't enough.
Too much walking.
I think
there's running and there's sliding, but there's not very much.
I think the problem
walking.
is I'm playing. I've just finished Final Fantasy 16 at the same time, which is a very different beast, but it's an RPG with a kind of a much more upgraded story and visuals and everything else. But it was quite hard to play those two at the same time, because especially that first hour, I think it just felt quite stodgy and a bit. But I agree with you, when you get out into the world and explore and slide around and fight things, that's fun. That's that fun bit. For me, I was really looking forward to this from what I saw earlier on in the trailers and the first bits of gameplay.
Some of the trailers are outstanding.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah. How far did you get in it, Gareth? Where did you get
I've done about 3 hours, I think. I'm sort of sanding around and then I
barely scratched it.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not hooking me to go back. But I will go back. I definitely.
Well, if you need assistance, let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll jump in as well.
There you go. Brilliant.
There you go. See,
Payday 3.
Can't wait for that.
Saying that you can. It is very much drop in, drop out, isn't it? So you
absolutely,
can just at any point.
Yeah.
If I couldn't beat a boss, I got my son to just log out of whatever he was doing, come and join in, help me beat the boss, and then he logged out again.
Slip him a $5.
Yeah, I need your son.
I don't need to slip him a $5. He's just, he likes to feel superior to his old man. So.
But please read Paul's review. It's on the site. It should be now. It should be when you're listening to this. So have a read and get it and get involved in some. What am I saying? Get involved. Play the game if you like it. Yeah, get involved.
Yeah. Don't listen to Gareth.
Competition.
It's great.
Don't listen to me. Paul loves it. 4.5 from Paul. What else do you expect? Neil, what's the game from you?
Oh, you're so honestly. Saucer of milk.
Can I just say he has given something else a 4.5.
Oh my God!
As well.
Oh yeah, that was also very good. I'll talk about that in a minute. If we get
Oh, sorry. I should have jumped in.
Good grief.
Neil, what have you got? What's your game?
I'd like to talk about Marble It Up Ultra. Now, do you remember Marble Blast Ultra from back in 2006?
Yeah.
Early Xbox Live Arcade game. It was like the game to be playing on the Xbox Live Arcade on the 360. You're a marble, you roll around, you get to end goals in the fastest time possible. It was just really super addictive. There's loads of love for that game, and the same people behind it are releasing Marble It Up Ultra. I think it's out next week. My review is live as you're listening to this. Would you like to know what the score is?
Yes, please.
Is it
Is
4.5?
I'm on tenterhooks.
Yeah, I might have given it a 4.5 out of 5. You know.
Oh no, we're retiring that number.
I know. Yeah, I'll go with 4.55 out of 5. So yeah, but anyway, I've given Marble It Up Ultra a 4.5 out of 5. It's just as addictive as Marble Blast Ultra back in the day. There's loads of levels, probably just over 100 levels. Some which are unlockable depending on how well you do in previous levels. So you've got to get bronze, silver, and gold medals to unlock later ones. It's just really good. It's just so addictive. And once you get some friends on the leaderboard, and you can see that you can shave off a millisecond or two to get above them on that leaderboard, there's nothing better. There really isn't. But yeah, it's really good. Multiplayer as well. Not quite so taken on the multiplayer side of things. It just feels to me not tacked on. It's well done. There's different game modes like Sumo, which is a King of the Hill. You've got a football game which plays very much like Rocket League, really, apart from you're a marble, and so it's slightly more difficult to push a ball with a ball, which is a bit weird. And then gem hunts and stuff like that as well. But yeah, as a single player game, really, really good. If you liked Marble Blast Ultra back in the day, this is a no-brainer, really.
Oh, okay, good. I did like the marble game. I liked the marbles game from years and years ago, back in our days, sort of Spectrums.
Yeah, I've always had a love for kind of marble games, like Marble Madness initially, and then I was massively addicted to Cooler World on PS1.
Oh, yes.
But whenever that was, I'm still slightly annoyed with myself. I sold my copy of Cooler World for like 112 quid, maybe 15 years ago. And it doesn't ever reach that price. Every now and then I look on eBay and whatever, and it's not reaching that price.
Yeah.
But I just wish I had I sound a bit like Darren here. I wish I had a physical copy of Cooler World.
Go back. Always go back.
Always go back.
I hate physical copies, but that's the one game that I'd really like a physical copy of now. But, yeah, so yeah, anything like that, Marble Madness or Cooler World or Marble Blast, you'll like this one.
Great,
thank you, Neil.
Cool.
If you don't mind, did you ever?
What's that? Sorry.
I have a question for you, if you don't
mind.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you ever play Super Monkey Ball? Is it similar to that? Setup?
Ish. Yeah, I played. What was the most recent Super Monkey Ball that came out? Maybe 18 months ago.
Blitz or something.
Yeah, couldn't really get on with that one.
Oh, really?
But a Monkey Ball from years ago. I'm guessing it's a little bit like that, yeah. But you are basically just trying to complete these levels as quickly as you can, and once you've completed it, you want to do it quicker, and then you want to look for a shortcut, and then you want to look for a jump that shouldn't be a jump, etc., etc. There's there's one level on there. The gold medal is 30 seconds or something. I was doing it just over that. First place on the leaderboard is 4 seconds. So What's nice once
of course it was.
Yeah, exactly. There's crossplay as well between PC and Xbox and whatnot, so that's where those ones come from. But once you get the gold medal, you can watch a race replay of some of their faster times, so you can work out what they've been doing, so you can try and replicate it, which is quite nice. Yeah, but you have to get the gold medal first to open that up, which is pretty neat.
Good, thanks, Neil. Darren, what's your game?
So I haven't had time to play many games, and I spoke a bit about it last week, so I'm going to go back to Sea Horizon. So for those who weren't listening last week, this is a roguelike RPG, and it has dice and card board game elements. It's a bit of a mishmash. So it looks a bit like a Sea of Thieves vibe when you first look at it. And essentially, it's one of those like hexagonal grid maps every time you go on a run or play a mission, if you like. And you have to get from where you start to your objective. And you can traverse the high seas in your ship, and then you can kind of jump off on islands and explore. And at first I thought, oh, okay, then looks all right, I'll give it a go. And I found myself getting quite absorbed on it, and I probably played it more than I needed to gather my full thoughts for the review. But a bit like Paul with Atlas Fallen, I just kind of was like, yeah, I want to play the next mission. I want to see exactly what it's got to offer. And I really enjoyed my time with it, I must say. And considering it hasn't done anything new to break ground, but what it does really well. So when you're going off to, the story is pretty kind of standard and mythical stuff. It's just an excuse to go around fighting baddies, really. But when you hit them on the hexagonal map, you go into a turn-based battle scenario, and in your hand or your deck, you'll have 5 cards, and you can choose when to use them. But they're powered by rolling certain elements. So a card may be 2 of one element, 1 of another. Depending on the dice rolls, you'll have enough to use that skill or not. And it's turn-based, so you can play an adventure mode where there's about 7 or 8 different classes. So like priest, wanderer, which is a bit like an assassin. You've got a paladin as well. So there's all different types, and they all have their own story, and they all have their own unique skills and weapons. And you can play through all of them, which is solo. But then there's another couple of modes. There's dungeon mode, where you can choose a team of 3 and fight through this dungeon, which has got multiple floors. Or there's a third mode, which is exploration, where you get a huge map and you can go for the objective, or you can roam around and find treasure chests and loot and all sorts. But you've got to manage your hunger and your health. And if you start starving, you'll lose health, etc. So it's a bit of a risk-reward type strategy. But on the flip side of that, if you don't fight and level up enough and tool up enough for the boss battle, you won't have a hope in hell of doing it, because there's a massive difficulty spike when it comes to the boss battles, and that may put some people off. One boss battle I was trying for 2 hours solid, changing my build in terms of cards and weapons, and I managed to get it eventually. But yeah, it can be really punishingly difficult in parts, which may put some people off. But I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to await the key question on what I gave it.
What did you give it?
What did you give it, Darren?
What did you give it?
I gave it a 4 out of 5, so not quite a 4.5. But it
let us down.
Yeah, I'm sorry. 4.5 will live to fight another day. But I'd recommend it. It's only like $12.49 as well. So if you're into that kind of strategy stuff, you could do a lot worse. It's really well done, and it's, considering you can play as loads of different classes and there's loads of different skills, it's quite well balanced, I think, overall as well. So give it a look. Don't dismiss it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Darren. I'm going to talk about the game I've played. I was talking about the Bright Lights of Svetlov. Svetlov? I'm going to say Svetlov. It's a made-up town. It's Svetlov. It's a made-up town anyway, so I can say what I like. Svetlov. This fictional town is based on one of the real towns. It's set in the USSR, if you don't know what the USSR is, on old Russia, in the 1980s. So it goes across time, starts about 1981 and then goes all the way to 1989. And it's in a small industrial town, and basically it's a family who are in this small flat in this kind of like massive kind of like estate, really, like an estate equivalent here. And you're just living through their lives, first of all. You're doing daily tasks around the house, like it might be wallpapering the bedroom for your daughter, it might be putting the washing out, it might be putting the stew on, and then the next day would happen. But underneath it, there's a kind of story about this family and about what they're doing. The father's being investigated by the KGB, and the mother isn't very well, and the daughter is sort of like rebelling against everything really about the change in Russia, but also about her family. And then there's a secret there that's happened that relates to the mother not being very well in this flat that's revealed at the end, I've got to say, of course, which is really shocking, and it's based on a real thing that happened there, and which makes it even more shocking. But there's a lot of these little games that I seem to review a lot of, which are basically like little short stories. You finish it in 2 hours. You kind of just walk around doing these tasks, walk here, walk there, listen to the story. And, I think this game is £6 or something. And I really like, there's quite a few of these games like this, and I quite like them. I really enjoy them. I think I gave this a 3.5. I thought it was really well told. It was a really interesting story about a part in history that I knew not that much about. And I think I rate those kind of games that just tell these stories. They do something very different. Minimal gameplay for people. No combat. You just walking here and there, picking things up, trying to solve maybe little puzzles. But yeah, it's good. The bright lights are flat off. I've changed it again. But give it a go if you want something to last you a couple of hours. There we go. Paul, what's your next 4.5 game?
Do you know what? Now you're being so snotty about it. I'm not actually going to tell you about that game. You can get that. I'm going to talk about a game that I am actually. Am I allowed to talk about a game I am currently playing, Neil? That little East Asia soft one.
Yes, Paul, you are allowed. Yes.
I can talk about that.
Thank you for checking.
No worries. I thought I best.
Darren would just crack on.
Absolutely. I know what Darren's like.
Blah, blah.
Doesn't
a 10-minute segment and then not realise. Yeah, that's
Anyway, now that I've gotten the go-ahead from the boss, the game I'm playing at the minute is called Reverie Sweet As Edition. And the best way to describe it is, I know you guys are old enough to remember Legend of Zelda on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but constructed by, I'm not sure where the developers are from. It's either New Zealand or Australia. So it's very, very strange. You're wandering around dungeons, you find the boss key, you find little secrets and everything else. But running through it all, there's this whole sort of thread of Southern Hemisphere-ness where, it's like we're going surfing and chuck a shrimp on the barbie and, you can go to the hot springs because it's quiet because a gang of Aussies came through and all this stuff. So it's a very interesting little game. I'm quite enjoying it so far. So you'll just have to keep your eyes peeled for an upcoming review. But it's appealing to my nostalgia so far.
Oh, good. 4.5?
I couldn't possibly say. I haven't written the review yet.
Okay, good.
4.75.
I just like the way he said it's like really weird. It comes from Australia. God, what a weird place Australia
is. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it is Australia or if it's New Zealand. I'd have to double check.
Oh, they don't mind getting mixed up. They love it.
No, they really don't. I know they don't. So apologies to any. Listen, I'm not gonna. I'm not. No. Don't tempt me. No. I think probably I'm just going to stop there before I can pull.
Yeah, move on quick.
Gareth, would you like to hear about my game?
I'd love to hear about your last game. You can talk about. You just pick one of them.
My other one is Koa and the Five Pirates of Mara. This is another weird little game, which is it's kind of linked with the old Marble It Up game, really, because it's just a series of time trials. You play as a girl called Koa. She's got a friend that does absolutely nothing during the game apart from just sits there behind her and every now and then comes up with a cutscene and goes, huh? And that's it. But she runs around. She meets a load of pirates. She has to run through a series of time trials in order to get some map pieces, which then unlock more islands and more levels, etc., etc. Bosses at the end of each one, blah de blah de blah. It's really colourful. It plays pretty well. There's problems with depth, so it's not a side scroller. It's not a whatever it is. It's very 3D. It's very open world, but you can't always tell where you're jumping to, and that in a platformer is a bit of a problem, especially when you've got things chasing you and you're running into the screen. Like Crash Bandicoot back in the day and stuff like that. When you don't know where you're jumping to is a bit of an issue. But aside from that, it's quite good fun. It's only, I don't know, maybe 6 hours long, If you go and collect all the bits and pieces, there's a load of upgrades and stuff you can do, but they don't do an awful lot. But yeah, it's an all right game that I gave. I think I gave a 3.5 out of 5 to.
Oh, okay, good. I've had a look at it now. It just looked like a game I've played 1,000 times before. But yeah,
it's very kind of 1990s open world kind of adventure-y type thing. But yeah, there's nothing that really stands out. But it's just kind of a fun, mindless run, really. And again, like I say, it's just a series of time trials, so you can just repeat them over and over again, trying to better your times if you feel the need.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
All right. Good. Thank you, Neil. Dan, you haven't got another game. That's okay. There's no pressure. Don't worry. Just do some more work next time you can. No, I'm joking. Wow. Harsh. I had another game, but I'm going to read briefly before we move on. It's just I went on the PlayStation this month. The free game of the month is Dreams, that came out a couple of years ago on the PS4, and I went on to Dreams. Now, when I think I got Dreams, I think I might have bought it first of all and then got rid of it like I do. But of course, there was nothing being made. The idea is that you make games and then you share them on this kind of community. Of course, there's been loads of stuff being made for this thing. And they're advertised at the moment this thing called Tren is their big thing, TREN, which is like a model train set track that is like, again, you could do time attacks and it's got you've got a model train with all the tracks like around a living room, and you have to kind of accelerate and go around corners, pick up things in a certain time. It's brilliant. You could buy that on its own, but there's so many games there that people have made. It's really got, some of them are like little things that might only take you 20 minutes, but some of the longer. It's amazing what people have done. It's so if you've got the free game of the month and you've got the subscription for the thing, it's just worth having to go back to Dreams and see what's out there. I had loads of fun in the day. Yeah.
I find it interesting that of the games that are free with PlayStation, you chose that rather than PGA Tour.
God, I don't want to do PGA Tour. No, it's not the.
It's not the latest golf one, is it? And I thought that looks dreadful, so I went for PGA Tour.
Get that. I think you'll find some good stuff in there. Do it, especially the trend. I think you'll really like the trend one. Get it.
This is your thingy, is it?
Yeah.
This is your recommendation for me. You'll like this, Paul. It's a game for you.
Yeah, you'll like that.
Can you play it in VR?
No, we won't talk about
Nobody likes VR, Neil.
No, as we found out. Let's just talk before we go on to... We haven't got many news stories, but we're going to talk briefly about... Now, I'm going to rerun in this. This is the start of it. It's going to cause diversion. But I've asked all the Xbox Hub team for our best RPG games on the Xbox itself. Now, I put together a list of 10 games.
That didn't include very many real RPGs. I'll just point that out.
Paul had the problem with this. But they're my list. It's my choice. So, and then we did a voting system on it from all the reviewers. Some people hadn't even played them. Not looking at anyone, Neil. And we've got a top. I've got it down to a top 5 of the games, which we're going to announce our top 5 Xbox Hub team RPGs. I don't think I'll go through the 10 list of what we had before. I just did the top 5. And
sausage.
Yeah, you can eat your sausage while I do this. So we could just chat about briefly whether we think it's there. So number 5 from our results is, he says, desperately trying to look for it at the same time, Elden Ring comes in at number 5.
How is that number 5? That's a travesty.
We know it's a brilliant
game of the year last year. Yeah, that was.
But there's some big hitters here to go against. And some nostalgia games here. But Elden Ring comes in at number 5. And number 4 is the Fallout series. So these are the games that you can play on Fallout at the moment. These include the Fallout 4, include that terrible 676 one it's called, and the Fallout 3, which you can go backwards compatible. So Fallout is at number 4. At number 3 is The Witcher 3. That was the thing. And number 2 is Skyrim. And what do you think number 1 is?
Skyrim.
Is it Persona 5?
It's not Persona 5. That's not even in the list.
No, I know, but it should have been.
Say it again.
It better not be Assassin's Creed.
No. It's the Mass Effect games, Mass Effect trilogy.
Oh
no, rubbish.
That was by a long shot. The rest of them were quite equal.
Nonsense.
Yeah. And that was the top ones. Darren, first of all, what do you think of that list? First of all.
Well, I will shock you, and this isn't my specialist genre, to be fair. But I am surprised that Elden Ring is fifth, considering all the hype, mainly from Paul, in the past few months. In all fairness,
Gareth's played it as well.
I played it as well. Yeah.
In all fairness, it did do very well, both critically and with the gaming community. So I'm surprised at that. I'm also surprised that Skyrim was beaten by Mass Effect, to be fair. Because I played a lot of Oblivion, less of Skyrim, but I remember being blown away by both those games. So, yeah, it's not what I would have predicted, I must say.
Yeah. Neil, is that what you would have predicted?
You're not going to me that.
No, you're next, Paul. You're next. I'll finish with you.
I've not played Elden Ring. What was fourth?
Fallout, the Fallout series.
I've played 20 minutes of a Fallout ages ago. Thought this isn't for me. I can't stand this. Third, I've forgotten the list.
The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3.
The Witcher. Yeah, that feels about right for The Witcher. Again, not played a lot of it, and it was buggy as hell when it first released, but I understand it's absolutely fine now. So that feels about right. Skyrim is Skyrim. I'd expect that to be top 3 of any list that's not driving, I suppose. And then Mass Effect, I played the first one through to completion. I played the second one, I think, through to completion. And I got bored of the third one and didn't touch Andromeda. So that seems fair to me. I know there's a lot of love for Mass Effect, and especially the first 2 games I thought were really, really good. So, yeah, we'll stick them up there. And, maybe if you ask us again in 10 years' time, I would not be surprised, and you will be asking us in 10 years' time when we're on episode whatever.
Yeah.
And this sausage is still sitting here in front of me waiting to be eaten. I would suspect that Elden Ring would probably move up that list as their old whack.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it'd be one of those games that people look back on very fondly.
And we might have a Starfield in there as well. We don't know.
Oh yeah, but that's going to flop, isn't it?
Yeah, it would. Paul, what's your thoughts of that list?
My thought is the list of games that you gave us to choose from didn't include very many actual RPGs. No Persona games, no Final Fantasy games.
Well, Final Fantasy, there's Final Fantasy on the Xbox. There's only one Final Fantasy game, and it's the one with the boys in the car. You've got Final Fantasy 7 in there, not the remake one.
You haven't got the remake, but you've got Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
No, it's all right.
Well, not 11, sorry,
12. I'm
12.
Sort of thinking of stuff that we can play
13.
recently. I'm thinking of new generation stuff mostly. That's
Yeah.
So,
I think The Witcher's a load of nonsense. I didn't like that at all. I love the books, I love the TV series, but I just didn't get on with the game. Elden Ring should be a lot higher up. Shut your face. And Mass Effect should be a lot lower down because I didn't enjoy that very much. I wish you'd put some actual
you still upset,
RPGs in it.
You're still upset about Diablo, the only one person who liked it with you.
Because Diablo is a great game. And you lot are a bunch of Philistines.
This is the whole Xbox Hub team, not just Paul. Paul was very upset. Persona I didn't include because it's my list, and I don't like playing a game as a teenager in a school.
It's only because you can't remember what it's like being a teenager in a school. It was all black and white.
It just feels wrong.
The Blitz was on, wasn't it?
It just feels very wrong. It doesn't feel right. Yes, that's the list. So I think that's good. We'll put that up, and like we said, I think I'm going to do FPS next. We'll go from there.
That's fine.
I have to get my list of 10.
But make sure you don't include any like Call of Duties or Battlefields or anything. Just go for the really obscure ones that nobody's ever heard of.
Can you also do a best aliens game just for Paul?
Yeah, just for Paul.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We did the best 4.5 games.
It would have to be Alien Trilogy on the PlayStation 1. That's the best Aliens game.
No, it's not. I'm not going to go into that.
Isolation.
Isolation.
Save that for another time.
Yeah, save it for another time.
Yeah.
Let's just quickly look at some news. Would you believe there's a new Call of Duty game coming out?
No way.
Yeah. And
No chance.
It's coming out after they've been quite funny about their leaks. I mean, they've leaked it. I think they were pretty waiting to announce it at the Gamescom thing, but it's all been leaked and now they've done a trailer for it. And it's coming out November the 10th or the 11th, I think, as usual. And they've got a little trailer and there's a villain back. Do we all know? None of us are really COD people. I've played most of them, but I can never remember any of it. But there's a villain in this trailer. You can watch it now any way you like. The villain's called something. People will know who he is. It looks good.
And you have to shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are worried that it feels like, because it's, normally they do something else after Modern Warfare 2 was last year and they normally go somewhere else like, I don't know, World War 2 or do something else. But they've gone, and people are, I think, worried that it'd just be like a bit of DLC from the last game. That's their feeling. But do we get it free if this deal comes through on Game Pass?
Is it going to go through by November?
Well, they're looking at October is when it comes through. Yeah, maybe. No. Last bits of news, there's Red Dead Redemption's got a re-release. It's not the remake that people were hoping for. It's just a re-release on the PS4 and Nintendo Switch. It's already on Xbox, so you don't have to worry about that.
Because it's backwardly compatible on the Xbox, isn't it? You can play the 360 version.
Yeah.
So
currently the Switch and PlayStation Store versions will cost $50, which is attracted some controversy, it must be said.
Yeah.
Why? Can I ask why?
I've no idea, but apparently Rockstar come out and said that's about right in terms of price. I can't remember exactly how they phrased it, but it was kind of like, that's about where it should be. Because I'm guessing you can't
them to give it away for free or something, or what?
Well, I mean, $50 is a lot for a game that came out 15 years ago.
Yeah, but not when it's not been released before. If it wasn't on the Switch before, then it's the new game essentially.
Yeah, I don't see any issues with that at all.
Was it never released on the PS4 either?
I don't understand the PS4 thing, because it must have been on the PS.
It was on PS3.
It was on PS3,
yeah. And due to Sony's unique way of not doing backward compatibility properly, I'm guessing you can't play it.
I'm surprised, but that's why. So I think it's a bit steep personally, because there's also a sequel out. So for people to go and play the original, I don't think $50 is a particularly attractive price tag. They'll just play the second one, but that's just
they don't have to buy it, Darren. They don't have to buy it.
No, and they probably won't. No, it's another weird Rockstar move after the whole trilogy thing that was as buggy as hell. It just feels that they're a bit up and down at the minute.
But they have come up with this. Sorry, Paul, go on.
But I was just going to say, you could always buy an Xbox and then get a copy from CEX for about £3. So
physical copies, everyone.
Physical copy. That's the way the market's going.
Or
the future.
Don't go back. The Grand Theft Auto boss was in an interview, and they put their financial projections for the year, and they projected that they're going to make £3 billion between £3 billion, I think, between 2024 and 2025, April 2024 to March 2025. So that made everyone go. I think the journalists asked, "Is this GTA 6 you're asking about?" He went, "No, he didn't say no. He said something really interesting. He just said something like,
maybe."
Something very interesting, like this is just in our statement. And obviously it is that, because that's where their money comes from. Their £3 billion where they're expected to come from. So it does make people go, okay, he said it without, he said it deliberately as well. They know what they're doing with that. It feels like that's going to be. When do we reckon that might come? Do you reckon it will be next year?
I'm going to be said between 24 and 25.
25. Yeah. They always had the same release date, didn't they? I think they did it with. They always sort of like went for with the GTAs. I think it was like a May release date, wasn't it? They did it for years like that. Maybe I'm making that up. Yeah.
I don't care about GTAs, but
I
really don't. I just
Do you know what the budget is?
I wouldn't have thought it would be. Sorry, carry on.
Do you know what the budget is for that game so far?
It's at least $20.
£1 billion. It's amazing, isn't it?
That's amazing.
But if you use that billion to make 3, then it's not bad business then, is it?
No, it makes complete sense, yeah. I'm sorry, Neil, what were you going to say?
I have absolutely no idea.
Something about the release date?
Oh, yeah. I'd be very surprised if we see it in the next 12 months. Possibly end of next year, maybe, I think.
I agree.
Like in the holiday season 2024.
Yeah, kind of early December. Yeah.
Well, do you reckon we'll get a trailer this year?
At some point, yeah.
You'll definitely get a trailer, yeah.
Good.
Don't worry about that.
We can confirm.
We'll make you one, Carol.
Yeah. That's the title of the podcast. We can confirm there will be a trailer at some point.
On the topic of physical editions, I saw a rumour that they're working on a discless Xbox Series X as well. I don't know how true. Because there's some people who say developing for Series S and X causes problems for some developers because of the power under the console. There's rumours that they're going to be releasing a discless Xbox Series X, which obviously I think is a poor move, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't see the point in that, to be fair.
I'd buy one.
I know you.
That's because it's new and shiny, so therefore you'd buy it.
Yeah, but no, I would buy it. I'm disappointed that I look at my PlayStation and it's got a drive on the side of it when I really wanted the discless one of those, but I couldn't get it at the time, and that slightly annoyed me. But yeah, I would quite happily snap up a discless Series X.
There we go. Good.
Only because
with that PSVR.
only because I have no idea when I last put a disc in my Xbox, and my PS5, I put Horizon, the disc in the day I bought it, and I've never used it.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
The PS5? Oh.
No, the drive.
Right.
I don't need it. It's not needed. So that's why I'd have a discless one.
We watch Blu-rays and stuff on our Xbox. And
I had to watch John Wick on it the weekend. So
I'd rather not watch it.
You'd rather not watch John Wick? John Wick's a great film.
I'd rather not watch it. I like that. In anger.
It's a simple solution. Just don't watch it.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it.
Don't watch it then.
Gentlemen, what are we looking forward to next week? Neil, what are you looking forward to?
Are we going?
Yeah, we're going to go. I've got to go. I've got a meeting.
It's not time to go yet.
Me, I've got a meeting in a minute. What are you looking forward to?
We were having a VR chat for a half an hour.
I was looking forward to the VR chat.
We're not.
Well, next time, Paul.
Just say on question time, our hour is up. We could talk about this again and again.
Oh, nice, Darren. Yeah, I like that. It's good. Paul, what are you looking forward to next week? I've gone off Neil. Go on, tell us.
Oh, you got off Neil now, have you?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Everspace 2, which is coming out onto Game Pass, so that's something to look forward to.
Are you reviewing that for us?
Yes, it would appear so.
Ah, good.
Brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic. 4.5 out of 5.
They want a high score for Metal score.
So, basically there's that. And I've got to go back to Manchester again next week. So, that'll be even more fun. I'm going to be keeping my feet firmly on the ground, though, I think.
Good. Darren, what are you looking forward to?
Cool.
Oh, I do worry about you, Paul. I'm looking forward to playing Stray because I missed out when it was released on PlayStation because I just didn't have time to play it properly.
Me too.
And I'm not really looking forward to going to the cinema after this podcast because Ryan's dragging me to go and see The Meg 2, which debuted 0% critic on Rotten Tomatoes, but I think it's had I think it's about 30% now. But he wants to go, so what is a relationship if not about making sacrifices? So there we go.
God.
Darren, if you want to ditch him off and come round mine, I've got plenty of sausages.
Have you?
There's an offer for you.
Wow.
I mean, I thought I'd take it over, but if you're offering,
wow.
How can you
recommend mine for a portion of sausage? My goodness.
I was going to ask you what you're looking forward to next week, Neil, but now I know.
I've got plenty to look forward to now.
Yeah.
See you in a couple of hours.
I'm also looking forward to Everspace 2 and Stray.
You've played Stray, haven't you?
Yeah.
All right. Good.
I'm still looking forward to seeing it on Xbox. I probably won't play it, but I'm looking forward to seeing it there.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I liked Stray. It was all right. Yeah.
Good, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Now, if we need to get hold of you, where do we get hold of you, Paul?
I am on X and Threads, and my handle, if it is still a handle, I don't know, is at TheXboxHub Paul. I have no idea if it's.
What about Instagram? What happened to Instagram? Are you still on that?
Yes, but I've still not put any pictures on it. I'm not quite sure what to put up there.
That's a task.
I mean, full frontal seems a bit, passé, but I've just, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, don't put that on there. I'm going to say let's not do that.
Just put your roof pictures up as if you were Spider-Man. That'll get some attention.
Yeah, I'll do that next time I'm up there. I'll take a picture for the gram.
Darren, where can we get you on normal things?
Oh dear. I'm on Twitter, and my handle.
No, you're not. Twitter doesn't exist anymore.
I am.
You're not.
Twitter's
going to be Paul, let's listen to Darren's thing so we know where he is. Where are you from, Darren?
Where are you from, Darren?
I haven't heard his thing again. There he is. Unbelievable.
They're going to make you miss the meeting on purpose, guys. We're going to keep doing this again.
It's good. I've muted them. It's all right. They're off with it.
Should we go for it?
Go for it later. I've muted them now.
Third time lucky, Daz. Go for it.
All right, come on, everyone. So my handle on Twitter is @27down.
Good. And Neil, where can we get you?
I'm on Instagram, Neil363. That's all you need.
That's all we need. Good. Thank you, gentlemen.
What about you?
Oh, you can find me at GB Brody, at Twitter, Twitch, and all the rest of the things. But now, I've got to go to a meeting. But thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.thexboxhub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.